everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Heels Up. I am Vlad. St. Valentine. With me today is Caidan Ramos. What's going on?
Hi, how you doing?
Mr. Reggie Lincoln is not with us tonight. He is out laying the Smackdown and beat down on some poor fool. So with us running the boards, we actually do have an extra producer today, Mr. Maskface. How you doing? He's the strong silent.
Yep.
Really.
Yeah.
But I respect that about him. Probably not going to be great at looking up stuff, though.
Probably not. He doesn't have any hands.
He does not. No. Opposable thumbs are very much required to work most of the equipment we have. We don't mean to discriminate. We really should do something about that, though. It seems rather discriminatory.
We probably should put on the voice activation thing.
All right. Good call.
Yep.
Does he speak?
I don't know. I haven't heard him say anything.
I guess I should ask him instead of acting like an asshole and act like here. Mr. Mask, can you say anything or?
Oh, that's a little unsavory.
Yeah, it's probably best you don't speak if you're going to say things that racist. That's pretty bad. All right, guys, we're doing the October 2nd episode of Smackdown. We kick off the night with Roman Reigns coming out and, flagged by Paul Heyman. And Paul actually looks a little disconcerted about, everything that went down over at Clash of Champions and stuff. And, Paul starts to run down the history and starts to go on another beautiful tirade when Roman pretty much just interrupts him and takes the mic and says that it didn't matter. The end of this match didn't matter because Jimmy's the one who bent the knee and not Jay. He beat Jay's butt, but he didn't admit that he was the tribal chief. So he demands Jay come out there right in that instant.
So Jay comes out and he walks down to the ring. He's like, what do you want me to say? You beat my ass, but you didn't break my spirit. I still didn't claim you as tribal chief. Guess you still talking all that smack,
Well, he's like, I don't even know you, man. You showed who you really were. I thought you were my blood, So again, it goes back to the whole, had Roman just come to him and asked, to be the head of the stable to begin with, it wouldn't have even been an issue. But Roman actually does a very damn good promo this time around. And when Roman looks concerned, he looks a little bit like Edge.
Yeah, he does.
Him and Edge have some of the similar. I didn't know he's like the Edge and Jason Momoa's love child.
Yeah, it's that strong jawline that he has, and then the receding hairline.
Roman does a great promo and tells Jay, he's like, "I love you more than your brother loves you. You've been here my whole life since day one, exactly. And all I wanted to do was give you a payday, and you had to be disrespectful and make me look like a fool and embarrass us and embarrass the family, We need to show solidarity behind me. This is my birthright. And I didn't just was handed to it. I earned it. He's played up the whole, you should be on my side here and you shouldn't be, you should have got out there and really tried to compete for this belt.
Yeah.
You should have got out there and laid down, just taking the payday and been grateful for it. You're making us all look bad. But this time around, he tells him because he's like, you're still looking at the title. If you want another rematch, you can have it if it means that much to you. At Hell in the Cell, we'll have a rematch, but the stakes are going to be higher than any match ever. And then he hugs Jay and tells him he loves him and leaves. And his back turns, he's leaving. Jay, it's like, fine, let's do this. I accept your challenge because I don't care what the stakes are. So I imagine the stakes are some sort of capitulation.
Yeah, probably he's going to have to submit or leave.
Title or bend the knee.
Yeah.
I imagine he doesn't want his cousin to leave. He wants his cousin to submit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's ultimately the thing. So if that is the only thing that Roman really wants, that's got to be the stipulation on the line, I imagine. Anything else just wouldn't make sense. Why you're hyping it is the biggest stake ever. I guess it is because it's a matter of pride, and pride's such a big deal. So maybe in Jay's eyes, it would be some of the biggest stakes ever versus what Roman considers to be the biggest stake, putting the title up. So I guess I can see where they're going for.
I mean, the title brings his money, so that's where he's at.
Yeah. All right. Between you two, it's the biggest stakes ever. For the rest of us watching, it's another family fight, which, I like Family Feud.
So as Jay is standing in the ring after he told Roman he's going to accept the challenges for the Hell in a Cell match, Styles' music hits. So Styles comes out and, he's talking all that shit. Like, Jay, what are you doing? You don't deserve this. You need to let somebody who can handle the spotlight take that shot.
Remember he prefaces his, I care about you. I don't want to see you take another ass whooping.
I forgot about that.
Let someone else who can handle this shot take it, you know? You're the run of the litter. Your brother was always the more athletic one. Why don't you just go off and be the runt with your brother and, you know, live under his coattail like you always do and let us take the chance for the belt. Which, you know, just pisses off Oos because he ain't having it tonight, man.
Yeah.
And he, you know, trips and starts wailing on him. We're going to go to commercial break and come back and have a match between AJ and Jey Uso.
For presumably the title shot at Hell in a Cell?
I don't think so. I think this was just this is necessary to build Jay back up a little bit as a credible threat after just watching him get his ass whooped at Clash of Champions, which I don't, because he's not. You're not going to give Jey Uso the title. I like seeing it, and I like seeing, you know, because I know Roman is doing this to, you know, give his cousin some time on television. This is exactly what he said tonight. That wasn't real. That was pretty much real. Like, that might have been a shoot, other than the whole you're embarrassing the family. The love and the nice stuff was he didn't have to act. That's why it's the best promo he ever gave, because it was all from the heart.
Yeah.
So like, he and Oos want to go tear it down. They're gonna have a great damn time doing it. That's for sure. But he's not gonna go win the title. We know he's not gonna win the title. Like,
no. And then this makes AJ look weak coming into the draw.
It does, but I don't think AJ has to prove anything.
No.
The whole point of this was to take someone who is not going to lose anything by losing, because he's still AJ freaking Styles, and you could plug him in next week and have him be a credible threat. It's why, like, it's like Randy Orton when he goes from being the most deadly son of a bitch around and, like, you can't even sit comfortably if he's on the show to he's just another guy on the roster for a little while when they don't feel like playing that part of him up.
Yeah.
So same thing with AJ. AJ can be the bumbling chump, the Corbin. He can go out there and do the Corbin matches where he comes out there and talks a lot of crap, gets a lot of heat in a short moment, so he can get the new face a little bit of groundswell, a little bit of heat behind him. So he can do that. He just is, you know, more likable than Corbin. So I'm more readily able to accept him back into my good graces.
It works a lot better than Corbin too.
He can have a good match with anybody. That's for damn sure. So Jay does win the match with the splash. 1, 2, 3. And he's going to look a little bit stronger going in, you know, for this next run up to Hell in the Cell. So we'll see how the storyline progresses. After this, though, we get, you know, Comrade Zayn backstage with the 2 titles. And, you know, he says, I'm going to do what the other guy should have done in the first place with this championship belt, and tosses Jeff's title in the trash. So I thought he was going to walk around with both of them, just have them like in stereo.
Yeah.
He doesn't, I guess that would legitimize one. And that was his whole point, was this is not legitimate. Yeah. So he chucks it. And we're going to get Sammy versus Jeff in our main event for the IC title. A little bit of a rematch from
Clash.
And I guess AJ is done with the IC stuff, because now he's over sniffing for the Universal title, which, you know, I guess when Roman's done with Oos, you can put on some good matches with AJ.
Yeah, if AJ stays.
Yeah.
We have the draft next week, remember?
Yeah, I forget about that. And he doesn't like Paul Heyman. So, he's more than likely going to go to Raw. That is a good point. Didn't think about that.
So after that, we get into our next match. We get John Morrison facing Otis tonight.
Yeah, this was pretty short.
Yeah, it was. And there was no kind of...
All the matches tonight were kind of short. This was like filler match the night.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nothing real spectacular stood out to me in that match.
And it wasn't like one of those nights where the storyline where you're like, okay, the matches were kind of fair and middling because we have to get to, we're more about telling the story. Tonight's story was we're just right after the pay-per-view, so we're just kind of like catching our breath after the pay-per-view, really.
Yeah. There's no mention of Miz, or he wasn't there. Tucker wasn't there.
No, all we got was Otis cutting a little pre-match promo saying that he's going to represent himself next week, you know, because he doesn't trust white-collar fancy lawyers, so he's going to represent himself in court next week. So we get, you know, what's Otis's last name? Does he have a last name?
He does, but it's like super hard to pronounce. I think.
Oh, it's Mr. Otis goes to Washington next week, so we'll see how that goes.
Yep.
No, this match wasn't much of anything. Otis wins with the Vader bomb, and the only thing that's the most we got of the match, though, was knowing that he's going to represent himself next week in a bit.
Yeah.
That was what this match. Actually, there's the whole point of this match. You could have just done this as a backstage interview. It was just a chance to show him and cutting a promo and then mentioning that.
Yeah, or you could have had the promo with Morrison in it too, which would have made it better.
Yeah, this was not. This was. This just neutrally just was.
It happened.
Yeah. That's the feeling for a whole night. It's just, it kind of was, with the exception of one segment.
Yeah.
It kind of just was. So speaking of filler matches, that's only purpose was to show a pre-recorded interview before the match, and that was pretty much it. We get Sheamus versus Chad Gable up next, and the only point of this match was so we could play a pre-recorded Big E promo challenging Sheamus to a Falls Count Anywhere match next week, which Sheamus will eventually accept. So, and again, this match was nothing. Like, I was looking down and looked up, and like Chad Gable was already eating a brogue kick. Sheamus looked slightly annoyed, so he gives him a second one, and good night, Shirley.
Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing to it.
Dude, like, Chad, like, get out.
Yeah, don't resign. Get out. No, I was gonna say the only thing that I can see coming out of this next match next week with Big E and Sheamus is one of them's going to Raw.
Loser leaves show.
Well, you got the draft, so like that's what I'm.
That's why they're blowing it off now.
That's what I'm afraid of. All these matches that are happening next week are going to lead to that.
Well, we've got two guys that are normally tag team people that they're trying to do a singles push on right now, in Jay and Big E. And I feel like Big E's taken a back seat since they've been pushing the Jay thing recently. And quite frankly, I think most of us fans are much more looking forward to Big E's push up to the top, because I would love to see Big E taking Roman for the title. You know what I mean? A little bit down the line, so I'm convinced that E might have a chance of taking it from him, because no one's taking it from him for the next month or two, at least 6 months, probably.
Yeah, probably till WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think moving moving Big E over to Raw, so we're not having him compete with Jay to have having the same thing going on.
Yeah.
You know, the tag team guy is finally getting his chance to break out and be a single star. You're telling that story twice in the same show is a little redundant. Hell, it's redundant to tell it twice on 2 different shows, but still better than doing it on the same show.
Oh, well, let's theorize this for a second. What if we move Big E over to Raw and we give him a secondary tag team partner in the Hurt Business? Him and Benjamin, maybe? Cedric might work because of Kofi's quickness.
I don't think that.
I don't think he needs it, but
I don't think I want to complicate him with those guys. If I were writing, I don't think I'd want to mix.
That's fair.
I'd want to complicate that up, because ultimately there's money to be had in New Day t-shirt sales to kids, and it's not going to stop ever. So I don't want to be a point where I got to take away that gimmick from them.
That's fair.
They can be separate entities doing their solo stuff. They can come together, but as long as I can still have them on Up, Up, Down, Down, or on their little podcast show they do together, and they're all still selling merchandise and fucking, you know, ice cream sticks and unicorn butt plugs, like, I'm going to keep them together.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair point. Forget about all the merch.
I mean, those light up head mounted dildos sell like a fucking gangbusters.
I wanted one.
After Chad Gable gets embarrassed, then goes and picks up his next paycheck, we cut backstage to KO getting his notes for the KO show. He is guest starring on Smackdown, because we all know it's normally a Raw dude. But he wants to come get some insight from Alexa Bliss on the darkness that's been consuming her as of late, because he thinks maybe that same darkness has been kind of feeding on Aleister Black a little bit, you know, that change that's come over him. He thinks maybe the two things might be related. Now, if they were to go so deep as to say that we know that the Fiend affected Seth, but in Seth attacking, you know, now Seth is able to be a carrier for that disease and he's infecting people too. Like, that's pretty deep, man, where everyone the Fiend touches, they start spreading out, infecting everybody else, to where you get to a point where you're kind of like, I hate to go comic book nerd on you right now. If y'all are reading the current DC run,
Deceased.
No, the Dark Knight's Death Metal, where, you know, the Joker laugh, spoilers, is kind of at this point, or when the story starts out, he's taken over the world, and he's basically forced all the superheroes to forcibly be like his like dukes or counts, you know, running different sections for him. Like, Wonder Woman has to run Themyscira as a prison for all the undesirables and stuff. And if she doesn't, he'll kill all the Amazonian. He's got basically the whole world hostage. And so, the fuck were we talking about? Where was I going with this?
The Fiend.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, if we get to that point where he's basically won and corrupted everyone, and there's just the small ragtag people that have got to find a way to break the hold on people and start bringing people back one by one until, it's balanced and we got like the last clash of good and evil or something. I mean, again, you'd almost have to you'd have to go full bore NWO, like invasion seeping in like a slow poison, build up over a year or two, man.
So I don't know if you noticed or not, but as KO was getting those notes, the TV on behind him was actually showing the Firefly Funhouse.
Yeah, that's the reason why I brought this up. I've actually kind of stopped talking about the little backstage crap because it's mostly unimportant. But this was kind of cool and kind of creepy and gave us our nice little foreshadowing for the rest of the night. So the Fiend is here. So we got the KO show up next. KO's out here, again, like we said earlier, he wants to try and explore this darkness that's going on with Alexa Bliss. And he starts pressing her on a little bit. And immediately she starts waxing poetically about what it's like to be around the Fiend and how he's just spine tingling and, how he just permeates everything. And it's amazing to be in his presence. And it's pretty creepy.
Yeah.
Her whole bit she's definitely creepy. She's got a weird look on her face the whole time. That whole, I'm not really here. Or, the smell the fart look, you're smiling because you kind of like it. Yeah, the vacant kind of. Anyway, but she starts going on about the Fiend, and KO catches on kind of quickly, and he's around, he's near, isn't he? You can feel his presence, he's obviously having a stronger effect on you. She's like, he's everywhere, he's all around us, and she looks at him and she gets intense. She's like, let him in, and then KO jumps around,
tosses his chair, and he's like, where you at? Where you at? He's ready for the fight. KO fighting.
He ain't ready for the fight.
No.
Ain't nothing she can do about it, man. The Fiend noise and the red lights come on, the lights turn out when they come back up a little bit. The Fiend has got the mandible claw locked in on KO. And the whole time, Alexis just sitting there watching this, still in the chair with this like creepy grin and just enjoying it, on her face. Once KO's out though, Fiend gets up and moseys on over to her, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's like, hey baby, what's up? He's got the red mood lighting going on, it's sexy. Super sexy. If you find Cannibal Holocaust sexy.
Who doesn't?
But he goes up to Alexa and offers his hand, and she takes it smiling, and I guess the beast has found his beauty.
Yeah.
We always thought that the beast that the beauty would find was going to be Braun, but apparently it's
Bray.
Bray's corrupted her. It's kind of like when Evil Ash steals Ash's woman in Army of Darkness.
Oh yeah.
Honey, you got real ugly.
Up next, we get a 6-man tag team match between the Bar 2.0 and Baron Corbin. They're going to take on 2/3 of Lucha House Party and Matt Riddle. It's going to be Lince Dorado and Gran Metalik. And when they were interviewed backstage beforehand with, Lince, Gran, and Matt and all those guys, she's asked, like, what was with this pairing? And they're like, he's like, they were just trying to give me good advice about how the WWE's a marathon and pick me up after my loss last week, bro. So we're going to go out there and tackle stuff and be positive. I'm like, I don't know if I'd take winning advice from the Lucha House Party, but you do you, Bo. You do you. But they're like, she's like, where's Kalisto? He's like, oh, he's in the locker room still here. He's still in the locker room trying to get his mask over his fat head, and his inflated ego is blah, 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 blah. Kalisto sucks.
Yeah.
But as the match kicks off, they'll go to the ring, and we got Lince kicking off against Cesaro first. And when they do that, Kalisto comes out again dressed like he's going to a Miami nightclub.
Yeah, Miami Vice Kalisto.
That's all I can do. With his mask and his blazer jacket and no shirt underneath, that's super sexy. He's just missing the gold chain. That's all he needs. And he needs to push the sleeves up on the blazer.
I wonder how much he's paying in dry cleaning all those blazers, because he's oiled up underneath that blazer.
Oh gosh, you're just ruining the lining of those jackets, man. I tell you what, just like Scotch guard the shit out of them and then put a little bit of saran wrap on there. Good to go. Well, then afterwards, you can also like tuck the saran wrap into the pocket and line it with stuff from catering.
That's fair.
You're at the bar later. Everyone else is paying like $30 for shitty fucking appetizers. You're getting drunk and eating hot wings on Vince's dime.
Or fried fish. Arthur said the fish is good.
But eventually, Kalisto does come down and he's upset. You forgot about me. I was in the locker room. I'm just completely oblivious. And that's kind of what we're going with Kalisto. He's arrogantly oblivious to why he's bugging people. I guess. At least I think that's what they're going for. They don't give him really enough time to talk and do stuff.
It's something.
So. It's something for them to do. That's exactly
right. It's something for them to do today because they forgot to do it at Clash of Champions.
Yeah. Yeah, that probably should have been the blow up then, but I guess they wanted to keep it going a little bit longer. I don't know why.
So Lucha House Party and Matt Riddle end up winning this match. Riddle hits the Bro Derek on Cesaro.
Yeah, it's not the same move Cesaro does.
Yeah.
He just calls it something else. It's the two guys that like to grab you around the dick instead of around the waist. I don't know why.
Well, the only difference is Cesaro grabs you around the dick to begin with. Matt transitioned into the dick grabbing.
He grabbed Cesaro by the waist this time, then transitioned into the dick grab. I noticed that. I was like, why?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, all right, to be fair, like, because Matt's is a tombstone position, isn't it? So one's facing in, one's facing out. I feel like that's right. I feel like Matt's is facing in, and no, because Cesaro picks you up like here, like a powerbomb position.
Yeah.
So you're facing down when he drops you. Matt's picks you up in a tombstone, so your back hits, not your front.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
All right, there's the difference.
We figured it out.
We are figuring this out. But either way,
science.
Like, you do have to put your arm around another man's grundle, but I guess you don't have to put your face in his ass or his dick the same way you do with a normal pile driver either way, or what? Because that's essentially the position you'd be in.
Yeah,
tombstone, your head's right in the dick. And I guess when you do this, you don't have to be right in the dick. I mean, yeah, you know what? I would rather have my bicep on a dude's, like feeling the heartbeat of a man through the tip of his penis on my forearm than like just feeling it on my chin.
Yeah.
Just saying. I've been there. I've been through college. I don't need to go back. We forgot to mention, though, during a chaotic moment before Matt hits his finisher on Cesaro, what kind of led him to do that was, though, he had thrown Lindsay into the ropes and Kalisto popped up and kicked Lindsay in the face, thinking Cesaro was heading in for the Irish whip. A little bit more miscommunication between these guys who were already at odds, but Cesaro was kind of talking trash to Kalisto, and then him and Matt get into it, which falls up to our ending. So after this match, we get Sasha Banks out talking shit about Bayley, and they're going to fight next week for the women's title. That's it.
Yep.
There's a lot of standing around looking at the camera waiting for them to go to commercial, which was super awkward. Yeah.
Kind of like this segment here.
So after this, we do get our final match of the night, the main event, the rematch for the IC title between Jeff Hardy and Sami Zayn. During Jeff's entrance, they didn't show us, but they would go back and show us later. Sami removes the top turnbuckle from the corner he's standing in, and this is going to play a major factor in the match overall. The match was good. It was okay.
Yeah.
Both men were still selling their injuries from the ladder match, which was great. Jeff looked fairly strong, but Sami got his stuff in. Man, this was a pretty even match, and it was. I take something away from Jeff and Sami, but it was about as exciting as the rest of the night. I mean, it was a little bit better because it's Jeff and Sami in a main event, but like, still wasn't nothing. Everything tonight felt like it was on autopilot.
Yeah.
This included.
It was just filler matches to get us over to the draft. Like,
yeah.
I would have much rather had maybe 2 matches that were okay and more storyline than what we got.
But Jeff is up on that turnbuckle with the exposed padding and is going to do like a moonsault or something, and Sami just knocks his legs out or jerks his legs out from underneath him, and he face plants, knocks himself out on the turnbuckle, and Sami pins him 1, 2, 3. So I'm guessing this was, you don't get an automatic rematch anyway, and this was the rematch. So I'm guessing Jeff's got to do something to get back to another IC title match if he gets one at all, or if he's not going to just be done with the IC title.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll move him over to Raw and have him go against I don't know, man. I wouldn't have anybody go for the U.S. championship that is going to win it right now because it's much more interesting to see the Hurt Business start accumulate
titles. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of want to see them become a dominant faction. Kind of go on a new evolution style run with those guys. I really would. I would like to see them like push it like Evolution did. That'd be cool.
Yeah, because you got a great mic man in MVP.
So good. So good. You have them get built up on Raw, and then you have eventually Jay submits to Roman, and you get the Anoa'i faction over on SmackDown. And then Survivor Series, we can have like Hurt Business versus
the Bloodline.
The
Bloodline.
The Bloodline or the tribe or whatever, since he's the tribal chieftain. I don't know. All right, guys, thank you very much for joining us in this episode of Heels Up. We've had a blast. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the Blazing Saddles review we did last week. If you haven't checked it out, please go check it out. We'll be recording some more movie reviews this weekend. It is October, so we'll try and do some scary movies and stuff, some more Halloween themed shit. But stay tuned, like, subscribe, and you got anything?
Say hi to your mother for me.
You son of a bitch.